Welcome to the MMHP and the 989, channeling all styles and eras of Michigan music history.
Hello, Michigan music lovers. This is Scott Baker. I want to welcome you to the Michigan Music History Podcast. I am flanked by Michigan music royalty. To the left, Dr. J. To the right, Sir Fred. We cut from just around the block of the Michigan Rock Legends Hall of Fame in Bay City, Michigan, here at Studio 163 in Essexville. And now it's time to grab a favorite beverage, hit the cruise, and take a trip back with us through Michigan's rich music history.
This podcast is sponsored by our friends at Electric Kitsch, located at 2106 Kosciuszko Avenue in Bay City, Michigan. And now, here's your host, Scott Baker.
We are back at Studio 163 for a very special popped-in event here. We're just going to hang with the three of us today and give you guys a little bit of update here on Dr. J's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that is now open right around the block here on Washington Avenue in Bay City from our studio here in Essexville. How did it go in the grand opening, Doc?
I think it went about as good as you could possibly imagine. Everything, we had an overflow standing room only crowd, and it, everybody was really into it. Dennis Lauren was there, brought some of his posters, sold a lot of them. We've also come up with some T-shirts, mugs, bumper stickers, compliments of Golden Gallery was put those things together, and I guess they sold out of T-shirts, and so it was pretty awesome. Not without drama, however. We go there. Well, first off, we didn't get finished with this thing until Friday, the day before.
Down to the wire.
Final things were up on the wall, and then every time we have went in to run the video, it's worked like clockwork. So Saturday, of course, when everybody's coming, we go to turn on the video, it's not working. Call, AMPM, the company that put it in, nobody's there.
Available.
Messages. Thank goodness I had Joey Rivard's number, who, the former lead singer of Finding Clyde, who works for AMPM. He was up north, but at least I got him on the phone, and he could kind of talk us through what we needed to do to kick it back up again, because we didn't get any instruction. This is a fill-in projector because of the supply chain issues. We still are waiting for the projector that we ordered. So we got the thing going, about 45 minutes before everybody was coming through the door, because that's, that video that my son Brennan put together is really pretty good. It's like a 20-year snapshot of what was going on in the United States and the world from 1960 through 1979 with a Motown soundtrack. Each year has got a Motown song. Like that starts out in 1960 with Shop Around, the first big hit on Motown by the Miracles. And then each year there's another song. And, it incorporates newsreel footage and animation and performance footage. It's really cool. So we definitely wanted to have that rolling. In anything, a rock and roll Hall of Fame, you want to have music. You don't want it to be silent, like you're in church or something. So, like I said, it went really, really well, and I couldn't be happier.
So you got it to fire up just before everybody came in?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. That's down to the wire even more.
Yeah, it was, like I say, it was a little tense there.
Oh, I saw that video somebody filmed of the walk around, and I posted it page to page here. I saw Sir Fred walking around down there.
Yeah, I saw myself too.
Some friends of ours in that video, and what an exciting exhibit. I mean, if you guys haven't been visiting the our MMHP page, it's up there, and it's open right now Monday through Friday, right?
From 10 to 4.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're, hopefully as we move along, it might start opening on Saturday as well. But right now, those are the hours. And the only time it's open on Saturday is when we have a second Saturday. And I might put a plug in right now. Dennis Lauren, the outstanding Michigan poster artist who we really displayed a lot of his work in the gallery. He is going to be our second Saturday speaker on May the 14th. And let me tell you, Dennis has got some stories. I mean, he was right there in San Francisco in 1967, and so he knows all these people. You know, he was close friends with members of the Grateful Dead and Jefferson Airplane and all these people, you know, famous people that came out of that San Francisco scene back there in the 60s and 70s. And he's still working. And I just got a call from Chad Cunningham. And Chad is planning a real big show this summer in Bay City. It's still top secret as far as who's going to be there. No, this is something else. This is much bigger than the Jazz Festival, which is going to be very cool. But this is top flight, big name people coming, and so I gave him Dennis's number, and Dennis is going to do the poster for him.
How about that?
So, yeah, the poster that Dennis put together for our opening was really
so
something.
cool.
Yeah, it's really, it's a great poster. He's got a very distinctive style. I mean, you look at a poster, you can tell it's a Dennis Lauren poster.
That's so cool.
Yeah, really.
And he lives in Detroit now?
He lives in Dearborn.
Dearborn, okay.
Yeah, Lynn and I went down and picked up, the posters that Dennis loaned us. And we were just sitting around his house. This guy has got so many stories. I don't know if an hour is a long enough time for Dennis.
Maybe we can get him on here, even though...
I did talk to him about that. In fact, I think Fred was there when we were talking about it. Okay. And
I thought he already was going to be on here. And so I said, "Oh, I hear you're going to come on our show podcast." And he went, "What?"
I'm glad you brought that up because there was so much going on. I probably wouldn't have thought of it. So we've got him lined up.
Wonderful. Fred, going around it, what was your observations? Tell me a little bit about how you felt going through the whole place.
Oh, it was great. I mean, Gary, his lecture was excellent. And it kind of led right up and, but it was so many people. I want to go back again and again.
Which is a wonderful thing because you won't get it all in the first time.
Because I didn't even watch that video. I heard it in the background as I was looking around, but there were so many people there that I knew and didn't know that met.
Probably ended up mingling so much that it was hard to get to
somebody like, I didn't realize it until the next day when I saw it on Facebook, this guy named Joe Kidd.
Yes, Joe Kidd.
Tell me who he is.
Joe Kidd is in the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame in a band. It was more like a punk rock band called the White Lines. And that's where I first came in contact with Dennis because they put out a 45 and Dennis designed a picture sleeve. So now Joe, who sings in a duet with Sheila Burke, is pretty highly regarded as kind of a folk artist. Okay. They travel all over the place performing.
I think we're friends actually on Facebook.
Yeah,
I know of that name.
Yeah, Joe's a real good guy, and Sheila's a very, very nice and talented person as well.
Going away after you got done and everything was said and done, was there anything that kind of you weren't expecting to hear about the Hall of Fame itself?
Everybody that I talked to really liked it.
Yeah.
But like Fred said, with the number of people there, it was a little difficult. I'm sure very few people were reading. There's a lot of information there. We went. I interviewed Dennis, and about what I was interested in was what was your inspiration for these posters. And Dennis really had some good stories, and so we wrote those up and put those on plaques along with many of his posters. And a couple of them are just gems. The one about the sugar daddy is such a great story. And, that all came out of, Dennis being kind of a student of history, the city of San Francisco. And, there was a poster that he was designing for this concert. And there was a statue. And he got into the woman that modeled for the statue. And it was kind of at the time, a scandalous relationship between an older rich man, Spreckles, who was the heir to the Spreckles sugar fortune, and with this younger, attractive lady. And she used to call her husband her sugar daddy. And that's where that term started. And, when you hear sugar baby, the young gal that hangs out with the rich man for companionship and sometimes much more, that's where that term came from. It's so fascinating. And so, anyways, that poster shows a picture of Elma Spreckles as a young lady,
Wow.
vintage 1910 or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah,
Wow.
Great stuff. And on all the other posters, we tried to explain a little bit what was going on, and we got that Bay City roller stuff, which is really pretty cool. And I didn't realize until we got into this, and I got in contact with these ladies that are big time Bay City Rollers fans, and the president, Rebel D'Elia, of the Bay City Rollers fan club, that each one of these rollers got an individual key to the city, plus Mayor John Willards made them official citizens of Bay City. And we've got the plaque that they gave Derek Longmuir, who also sent along his key. And this summer, there's a big concert. This is not Chad Cunningham's show, but this is a kind of an 80s concert that's going to feature Rick Springfield, John Waite, and Men at Work. All three of these acts at the Winona Friendship Show.
Okay.
And this is going to be August 27th, which is also almost to the day the 45th anniversary of the Bay City Rollers visiting Bay City.
Wow.
So we're going to get all these Rollers fans from around the country coming to Bay City to see the exhibit and to, of course, go to the concert.
Oh, wow.
And these women, they're all in their 50s and 60s. Yeah. They were just like schoolgirls when we were telling you about this concert, with Rick Springfield. Oh, my God. Yeah. You imagine what a heartthrob he was back in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Jesse's Girl and all that stuff.
He was the next thing right after the Rollers.
Oh, my God,
No
yes.
doubt.
Yeah.
So, anyways, apparently, these women, they've got a connection with somebody in the Rollers organization, and Eric Faulkner, who is one of the Bay City Rollers, who's still alive. He's got his costume that's at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they're trying to rig up a museum loan that we might get this outfit of Eric Faulkner's that we would be able to display somewhere in the museum. I don't think there's room in the gallery. Probably have to put it down on the main floor, down by where the question mark and the Mysterious display is. But that might happen too. I don't know anything about that. Have you guys ever heard? It's got to be a cost involved.
I don't know. I didn't know.
I can't imagine the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is going to ship this thing down, because it would have to be in some kind of protective casing or something like that they're just going to ship this to Bay City for free for the goodwill.
Well, I know in the art world, when one museum, because when I was living in Ann Arbor, they brought the St. Petersburg, Russia museum, or part of it, to Ann Arbor, to the University of Michigan Museum, and they were charged a lot of money.
I would imagine.
Because it actually was on tour or something.
Right.
But it was only 1 or 2 or 3 American cities that were going to do it.
Yeah, well, I know even Al Abrams' Motown in Black and White exhibit, that was pretty costly to bring that to the Saginaw, the Castle Museum. I know they put out a fair amount of money to have that Motown display there. And I was talking to Al Abrams' widow, and she was real anxious to have us display it in Bay City, but the gallery is too small for that. I know that. Did you go to the Motown in Black and White when it was at the castle?
No. I was living in Ann Arbor, and
yeah,
they
they had
come up.
They had a lot of space there that they used to put that on, way more than we have. So, and plus the cost.
And even some of the artists that put stuff into the Hall of Fame that upon request, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I've talked to a few that, like, my guitar's over there. I have to call my manager in order to get that out. I don't know where it's going next. Sometimes they say it's going to a hard rock place. So they do get them shipped around, but I wonder if it's a...
Yeah, there's got to be. I'm sure the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame doesn't have that much money.
No, they're probably not footing the bill for it to move around for sure.
This podcast is sponsored by our friends at Electric Kitsch, located at 2106 Kosciuszko Avenue in Bay City, Michigan. They offer new and used records, including local to Michigan original vinyl and CDs, as well as clothing, electronic equipment, funky household items, music gear, and stringed instrument repair. You can find them on the web or call 989-402-1411.
They used to have this section of the Hall of Fame for sidemen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think Dick Wagner should go.
Yeah,
I realize as
absolutely.
great as he was, really none of his bands that he led were that, sold that many records or anything, as great as they were. But, his work with Alice Cooper especially.
Yeah.
But Lou Reed and, he
Kiss.
did that session. Right, Kiss, Aerosmith. Certainly would qualify him for... induction in that category. And I don't know if they do that anymore. I can't remember.
Every year there's always a person that gets inducted. He's got 2 for 2 though. He's not only the musician and the band leader behind it all, but he's also a lyricist and a songwriter. So he's got the credentials in spades.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
that guitar that you guys gave to Bobby Balderrama.
Yeah.
Was he was he really, really surprised?
He had no idea.
Okay. I was wondering because he looked...
Bobby was stunned. This all happened out of the generosity of Chad Cunningham and his wife, Dina. Oh. And, Bobby had always wanted this particular type of model of guitar that, was played by Carlos Santana. Very expensive. So Chad, just out of the blue called me, or actually this happened just a day or two before, and I had already set up how I was going to, thank people. And of course I wanted to thank Bobby because really it started, there was no rock and roll in the Historical Museum when I joined the board. And that was kind of my goal, was to bring rock and roll in some way to the museum. And most of that was on the second Saturday presentations that I've done over the years. I usually do at least one a year on some kind of a rock and roll subject, that deals with Michigan or Bay City in particular. And the first display we had was Question Mark and the Mysterians. And that was after years of, arguing and cajoling, the people in Bay City to recognize 96 Tears. Finally, we got Chris Shannon to at least make it, the official rock and roll song of Bay City. So that keyed in. We wanted to do a display, and Bobby lent us his gold record, and he had a couple others, some shirts and so on that he wore, and Question Mark and the Mysterians, and I pulled together some other things. So we got a pretty nice display of Question Mark and the Mysterians downstairs. But it all started there, and we were going to bring that upstairs, but I thought, maybe we should keep it right down there, right at the bottom. And, this is sort of where it all started. So anyways, I was going to thank Bobby for that, and Chad called me a day or two, I guess it was probably 3 days before, and he said, I'd really like to give Bobby this guitar, but I've got to get it ordered, and it's got to be shipped here in time. And so he ordered the guitar with the stipulation that it had to be here in time for this Saturday presentation. So I didn't hear from him until, finally I called him at 10 o'clock Friday night. I said, Chad, do we have the guitar? So, he said, I got it today. And, we changed it around a little bit. So I left Bobby at the end. And so, we just called him up and, his appreciation for, his achievements and his dedication to music all these years. And, Bobby is as kind a spirit as you ever want to be.
Yeah.
Really, he is an example for everyone.
Yes.
To be that kind and caring and humble, just a very genuine person. So for me, actually, the highlight of the day was presenting him with that guitar, and Bobby was he was stunned, without a doubt.
Was it a Paul Reed Smith?
I
don't even know. Did this get videotaped?
I got to look at the guitar.
Yeah.
I think about an hour before Chad snuck it in the back door. Before Bobby got there, so that we could have it.
Because they came in, I think, at the same time.
Yeah, right. And at first, Chad was going to carry it in and tell Bobby, I wanted to bring an extra guitar to hang up on the wall. Chad, that's not going to work. We got to get it, kind of store it. Otherwise, you kind of give the surprise away. So, we caught Bobby totally by surprise on that one.
Wonderful.
So,
I hope it's on video. I'd like to
we've
see
got
that.
at least, there's a couple still shots. I don't, Bay TV, videotaped it, but I don't know,
The extent of that.
Yeah, if they extended it that far or if they're just going to cut it after my presentation.
Okay.
Because there were some questions, but then that really didn't go anywhere to speak of. So, I don't know.
What a thrill.
Yeah, but I hope they did get it because that was a real nice moment.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Wonderful to hear. What a great way to kick off the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
It was actually the perfect moment to officially open after giving Bobby the guitar. Because of the link to Bay City and 96 Tears, and of course, coming up with a #1 hit again 56 years later on the smooth jazz charts with his recording with Lasonic.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was really, really great. And Bobby's going to open for Patrick Yandel at that jazz festival.
Good.
Yeah, so it's really
I heard. I didn't know who he was going to open for, but I heard
I think Patrick Yandel
jazz festival and Bobby's band, and I thought, oh, okay.
Yeah, that'll be probably earlier in August, maybe a week or two before the big 27th. And I don't know when Chad is going to do his thing. If it's going to be around 4th of July, maybe.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know anything about this. So,
it's all, the announcement hasn't been made yet, and Chad isn't divulging anything. I don't know who it's going to be, other than it's a big name.
Okay, good. Wow. Well, what a cool wrap up, and a very special. We're going to put this episode in between episodes as a special episode, and we want to thank Dr. J for all the work you've put in. And we just rolled 1 year here on the podcast for our taping, and it's been such an intense time for us to watch the history of this town blossom, and now here we are in fruition. And Sir Fred, your book's coming out. Gary's new book is already out at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And thank you both for the wonderful year we've had.
Yeah, it's been great. I think this podcast has really been a cool thing, and it's been great to talk to all these people. And it's really great. I've met some people I did not know at all, and it's really been fun learning about their interest in music and all that they're up to.
So much more to come, and if you guys get a chance, please visit the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here at the museum in Washington. We'll see you soon.
The MMHP is hosted on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and our own Libsyn podcast site. You can also search MMHP989 on Facebook for up-to-the-minute information, as well as both Dr. J and Sir Fred's album picks of the week, posted every weekend. You can connect with Scott on the web at scottbakermusic.com, Dr. J at michiganrockandrolllegends.com, Sir Fred at fredrife.com, and the Electric Kitsch at electrickitch.com.
This podcast wouldn't be here without special help from Studio 163's Alan Garcia, our podcast videographer and wingman, Mr. Mike Beatty, MMHP tagline specialist, Mr. Eddie Switek, and of course, Gary Johnson, Fred Rife, the Electric Kitsch, and all of our special guests, and especially you listeners. We want to thank you.
You've been listening to the MMHP and the 989. From all of us at the podcast, we want to thank you for tuning in.